Test 1, 3. Test 1, 2, 3. Wolf guys. All right. There it is. There it is. There it is. All right. All right. All right. All right. What's up, people? How you doing? Welcome to the Tim Black Show. Glad you can make it. My people on Periscope, Facebook, and YouTube. Tim Black's Wolf Pack is in the house. What is going on, everybody? We did a sound check real quick earlier during the song, the monologue. It appears that we're okay, but if I can get a sign of life for my people out there on Facebook to make sure that Facebook is good, that would help. There we go. Thank you, Dolores and Rose and Evan and Nicole and Dale. I appreciate you being here tonight. There it is. We're getting love on Facebook. Thank you, Eduardo and Nanny and Cynthia and Chad. People on YouTube, can I get a little bit of love from you guys too? Gold, Benode and Tommy and Tracy and Durrell, the whole crew. Rebecca, thank you so much, guys. Uncle Ron's in the house. I see you. Buck, thank you for moderating. Eli, I hope you're in the house, as well as Rev Marie, if you're available. And let's get going, guys. Let's do it. All right, guys. So, tomorrow's a big day. Yeah. Tomorrow's kind of a big day, guys. Tomorrow's a big day because it is the first day. It's the voting in New Hampshire day tomorrow. Big deal tomorrow. So we've been looking forward to it because we know that this will be the round two, so to speak. And everyone's talking about what this will mean for other candidates. And look, in previous elections, if you hadn't really hit the scoreboard in Iowa or New Hampshire, that was kind of a wrap for you. It was kind of unspoken rule that if you didn't show like real signs of life in Iowa and New Hampshire, then there was no reason for you to continue. So things are a little bit different now because, Bernie Sanders is running. So, Stop Bernie movement is in full swing. Because as I stated, typically, if you were in fourth place or fifth place, it'd be a wrap for you. How could you raise money with no signs of actually winning? No hopes of winning, no actual trajectory to securing the nomination. Most people would not donate money for you just to be around, just to travel. They wanted to know if you could win. So this is like, it's understandable. It's understandable that would happen. But while there's a lot going on in the activity happening because of tomorrow's debate, well, because of the vote tomorrow, all right, Bernie Sanders has been having to make the case for Bernie Sanders because he's been facing a lot of, dare I say, bad weather or bad actors. Check it out.
Joe Biden says that your Democratic Socialist label would hurt down-ballot candidates. He's not the only one saying it. Vulnerable Congressman Connor Lamb in Western Pennsylvania said, quote, "It would be really hard for you to win his district." Congressman Anthony Brindisi of New York says your platform is not a winning message. Congressman Bear of California says you would probably put the House majority in jeopardy. What's your response to these Democrats who are worried that you're going to hurt them in more moderate districts?
Well, the truth is that our agenda is precisely the agenda that the overwhelming majority of the American people want. We're going to grow the voter turnout. In Iowa, where the turnout was not as high as I wanted it to be, among young people, people under 29 years of age, we increased the voter turnout by some 33%. It's a huge voter turnout. And we do that all over the country. I think you're going to see incredible gains for down-ballot Democrats. Look, at the end of the day, the American people want to raise the minimum wage to $15 an hour. They want to make public colleges and universities tuition-free and cancel student debt by a modest tax on Wall Street speculation. The American people understand health care is a human right, not a privilege. The function of health care is not to make $100 billion for the drug companies and the insurance companies. The American people understand we have got to deal with the existential threat of climate change. Our agenda is the agenda of working class and middle class Americans. They want us to take on corporate interest and the greed of the drug companies and the insurance companies.
You talk a lot on the campaign trail about income inequality, how the top 1% of Americans possess more wealth than the bottom 90% of Americans all combined.
Yep.
Our investigative K-File team found that early in your political career, way back in 1974, you said that it should be illegal to earn more money than someone could spend in his or her lifetime. You proposed a maximum wage cap on the highest earners.
What year was that?
1970.
What year was that?
It was 45 years ago.
Look, Jake, in all due respect, that was 7 years before I was alive. Did you go back to my third grade essay when I was in PS 197 about what I said?
You were a grown
what
man
I said,
in your
40
30s.
or 50. Yeah, but that was 50 years ago. Let's talk about my mayor's record, where I was a transformative mayor, reelected 3 times. We could go back to things that I said in the 70s. I don't think it's productive. I've been a senator for 16 years, a congressman. Senator for 14 years, a congressman for 16 years. But here's the bottom line. This is what I do believe. When you have 3 people who own more wealth than the bottom half of America, when half of our people are living paycheck to paycheck, when 500,000 Americans are sleeping out on the street, yes, the rich have got to pay and the large corporations have got to pay their fair share of taxes. We will raise taxes very substantially on billionaires. No apologies for that.
But you do not favor a wage cap as you once proposed. That's the only question.
50 years ago, look, what I just said is when you have massive levels of income and wealth inequality. By the way, in the last 3 years under Trump, the billionaire class has seen an hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars increase in their wealth. The average American worker has seen less than a 1% increase in real wages last year. All right, that's the issue that we got to deal with right now. We need an economy that works for working people, not just for the billionaire class, which is what we have under Trump's economy.
Wow. One of the things that always kind of, I don't know if it's never surprising. It happens all the time, but you got to ask yourself, why don't they ever follow up and ask him about the important stuff he talks about? Like when he talks about the income inequality. There's no follow-up questions on that shit because they know where it's going to lead. It's going to lead right to their own backyards, Johnson. They never ask about the minimum wage being raised to a more livable wage. Of course, we like it higher than that. I had a conversation with Rami Oso Frimpong of the Funky Academic. We were talking about $22 an hour. But hey, 15, that's the start. But they never want to go further on these issues, do they? They don't want to go further on anything that actually impacts the life of working day people, hard-working people, people struggling, people just keeping the roof overhead. But no, they want to talk about this nonsense. Man, gosh, like Jake, I looked at his face at one moment. It seemed like he wanted to laugh at how stupid it sounded to talk about something 45 years old that he said in some paper or something, and not actually focus on, like, what he's been doing in office. Like, I mean, he's been in office for 30 years. You got a lot of material. They said it was wrong when I talked about Kamala Harris, what she did 10 years ago. They try to deflect when we bring up Amy Klobuchar's record from 7 years ago. But you want to go back 40 years on Bernie Sanders? Something he said, not something he did. I mean, Amy Klobuchar oversaw the jailing, railroading of a 16-year-old child, punishing him as an adult for a crime they had no evidence that he committed, no DNA, no nothing, no murder weapon. But we don't have that conversation on the CNN show, will we, Jake Tapper, on the State of the Union? But we will bring up something that Bernie said 40 years ago and try to make that a talking point. Come on, man. Like we could do better. We could do better. And another thing, guys, this socialist label thing they want to hear Bernie with, I want you to know that they've already been using it. Yeah, they make it sound like this is something that only Donald Trump would use, and it's going to happen in the general, and it's going to sneak up on Bernie, you know? Sneak up on him. They were using that in Iowa. There were a lot of attack ads being run in Iowa by PACs of both for Buttigieg and for Joe Biden. All of them labeling Bernie Sanders a socialist. And you saw how that worked out for him, don't you? He won Iowa and he's about to go win New Hampshire. That's how damaging the socialist label is. Oh, Democratic Socialist, Johnson. Just to give you more of a clear understanding of what I'm talking about, check out the polling for New Hampshire. It's a thing of beauty. New Hampshire primary poll, February 7th through the 8th, 2020. Very likely Democratic primary voters. You see Sanders in the lead with 30%, distantly followed by Buttigieg, Klobuchar, Warren, Biden, Yang, Gabbard, Steyer, Patrick, Bennett, and someone else. Jesus, Bennett's got 0. Someone else has 3. Who's someone else? I wouldn't mind being someone else. Okay. So there you go. There goes the separation. Margin of error is 4.3%. Okay? Moving on. Here we go to trajectory, all right? The primary tracking poll, day 1 through 7. As you can see here, Bernie Sanders is in the blue, guys. Okay? He actually started off on Sunday at 29%, ended up a point higher at 30. Okay? So ebb and flow, ebb and flow, ebb and flow. Between 1 point, though, we're talking a 1 to 3 point ebb and flow. 29 to 32, 32, 31, 32, 31, 30. Okay? Look at Buttigieg. Buttigieg here. No, I'm sorry. Yellow. Buttigieg, yeah, the yellow. I'm right. Buttigieg. He went up, he went up, he went up, he went up, he went down, he went down, he went up, down to 20. Okay, so he started off where he was surging, and something happened. He had a 4-point snap. I wonder what that was. Oh, I got a feeling I know what it was. Lying about Iowa. Maybe that'll do it. Who's doing well? Well, Klobuchar. Klobuchar, as you can see here, started off at 8%. She got a bump from the debates. Sits at 13. Look at Joe Biden. Joe Biden is sitting at 11% with Warren a point above him at 12. One last poll. Most important poll, I think. New Hampshire Democratic primary voters, who do you expect to be the Democratic nominee? Hold on to your biscuits, Grandma. That dog can hunt. Look at that right there. We got Bernie Sanders with 44%. 44% likely to win the whole thing. That's right, not just win New Hampshire. They think he's going to win the whole thing. What's most damning in this whole equation is look at Joe Biden. They used to feel that way about Joe Biden until like really recently. That's what we call tanking. That's tanking right there, baby. All right. So make no mistake about it. They'll try to saddle Bernie Sanders with these labels. But what really matters is that the people, the voters. Bernie Sanders is resonating with voters. He didn't have to resonate with cable news spokesmodels for elites, which is basically what our cable news is. There was a time when it'd be like a news guy would be somebody like me, Bernie, barely kind of getting by, like making it happen, doing it for the love of the game, doing it for the love of the news, doing it for a cause, never looking to really make a whole lot of money, just enough to get by and be able to take care of your family. But you believe in something a little bit more, something that you were pursuing, like truth, honest, justice. You enjoy telling a good story and unveiling truth for the masses. But something has happened in news. Something's happened to it over the last, I don't know, ever since it became a thing where it's all about profit, which has something to do with Bill Clinton, just ironically. But the point is that now we got these spokesmodels, man, whose attention, their focus, their objective is to just do what their bosses want them to do. No more of the scruffy-hatted reporter or the knock 'em down, drag 'em out lady who's trying to chase down the story at great sacrifice and great peril to her own safety. None of that stuff. This ain't a movie. In real life, what we have now in 2020 are a bunch of paid-off suits, empty suits, sitting on news desks, telling us what they think, what they were told to tell us, which doesn't help us. So we're going to see what's going to happen in New Hampshire. I feel very positive about it. You see how the people of New Hampshire are thinking right now, and that's all that really matters. Also note this, Bernie won New Hampshire very handily in 2016. I don't know if that means anything, but it should. All right, guys, let's go to the next story. Jesus, I tell you. I don't know what's wrong with these people, man, other than the fact that they got paychecks to pick up. Story number 2, and check this out, guys. So, there's not a single person out here who's been online, who's been dealing in politics for more than 2 seconds, who hasn't heard the Bernie bro myth. The only people that support Bernie Sanders are 18 to 25-year-old little white guys living in their mama's basement who hate the world, who love stalking and berating women. Yeah, that's what they say. That's the narrative. That's the story. It definitely erases people like myself. Anyone with any melanin in their skin or any age on them at all, because we don't fit in. So this backlash, this horrible, stereotypical nonsense that we've been hearing, none other than Nina Turner addresses today on Ari Mebler's show. Check this out. Ari had Nina Turner on, and like she usually does, Senator Nina Turner, she spoke truth to power.
Eve of this pivotal New Hampshire primary, a time when the race turns from the campaigning and the persuasion to turnout. The latest polling showing 2 campaigns with the most momentum for that are Senator Sanders and Mayor Buttigieg. They lead the latest CNN poll, 28 at 21%, while many rival candidates agree, and that is clearly seen in how many are attacking Bernie Sanders like he's now the frontrunner.
It is not real, Bernie, because 2/3 of the Democrats in the Senate are not on your bill, and because it would kick 149 million Americans off their current health insurance in 4 years.
How are we going to pay for it? Are we going to pay for it in the form of still further taxes? Or are we going to pay for it in the form of broken promises?
You're going to win in North Carolina, you're going to win in Pennsylvania, you're going to win in those states in the Midwest. I didn't put the label on Bernie. Bernie calls himself a democratic socialist.
And we are joined now by national co-chair of that very Sanders campaign, Nina Turner. Thanks for being here tonight.
Thanks, Ari.
Let's start with a little bit of policy. Bernie Sanders has gotten a lot of attention for his economics. I want to show you briefly where his plan stacks up against Senator Warren and now Mike Bloomberg. A wealth tax for billionaires by Sanders is the highest, 8%. Warren has that at 3%. Bloomberg doesn't have that. But interestingly, while his highest tax rate is 52%, Warren at 40%, Bloomberg is in with a rate at 45% and a surtax on people making over $5 million. Translation, it looks like even Mike Bloomberg is moving in your direction. What do you make of that? And do you think it's fair to say that several candidates now have economic populist proposals here?
Well, Ari, all of the Democrats are running on some version of the platform according to Senator Bernie Sanders. So it is very clear the courage and the conviction that the senator had in 2016 is percolating throughout the Democratic Party so that any Democratic candidate worth their salt who's running for president has to maneuver in that space one way or another.
Interesting to hear you put it like that. I want to also ask you about a point of criticism we've heard, and I do this with all the different candidates so people can hear the answers. This one was summarized by, your friend Larry David, but it's a joke that touches on a criticism. Take a listen to the new Larry David impression.
I don't know how or why it happened, but I am king of an army of internet trolls called Bernie Bros. Could I stop them in their tracks? Of course. Should I? Yes. Will I?
Obviously a joke, but the punchline is the idea, the insinuation that Senator Sanders does not do enough to address that so-called, quote-unquote, bro culture. Your response?
I mean, give me a break. And listen, that's satire and I get it, but there are too many people trying to push that agenda. It's very similar to the same calculation that folks had in 2008 when they called the supporters of then Senator Barack Obama boys. And the same folks are pushing this same kind of message against the people who support Senator Bernie Sanders. Senator has been very clear to everybody about staying on the issues, not talking against people. But the last time I checked, he does not control what comes out of everybody's mouth or their tweet. But if people align themselves, Ari, in the way that the senator conducts himself, and everybody in this country knows that the senator stays on the issues and not on people. Furthermore, other candidates have people who support them who have been very vile and negative. And I don't hear the media or other people among the elites labeling their supporters as such.
And lastly, I want to ask you, there's been a lot of talk here about the idea that Bernie Sanders could do very well tomorrow, could do well in the upcoming states, and has a financial edge over every other Democratic candidate running right now, with the exception of former Republican Mayor Mike Bloomberg. If this gets out in a couple weeks to a race one-on-one between the two of them, do you like that? Do you welcome that? Do you think that's a race you guys win, even outspent?
I do, Art, because the difference between Senator Sanders and Mayor Bloomberg is that he has a movement behind him. He went to the people to lay out his vision and his message, unlike a billionaire that's buying the elections. As you know, he skipped Iowa, he's skipping New Hampshire, skipping Nevada, skipping South Carolina. So instead of bringing a message to the people and helping people to see a vision that he does not have, he is flat out trying to buy the White House. Also, the people who donate to our campaign can donate over and over and over and over again, and they are motivated to continue to fuel a people-powered movement to catapult Senator Bernie Sanders to be the 46th president of the United States of America. And that's how we should want it, Ari, whether we're Republican or Democrat. We should not want the oligarchs or the plutocracy of this nation to be able to buy elections. It should be fueled by the people, and that's how we're running, and that's how we're going to win.
I see you with the O word. I know you guys like that word.
Oh, yeah, I'm saying it. Yo, I'm saying it.
Can't stop, won't stop, oligarch. Well, as you know, we have all the different candidates on the show. We had Bloomberg the other day. We'll keep asking everybody the questions. I appreciate you joining us on The Beat, Nina.
Thank you, Ari.
All right, so I want to get credit where credit is due. I already had on Michael Bloomberg's campaign manager just the other day, and it was a thing of beauty. Wow, it's really hard for someone to try to explain why violating people's constitutional rights on the basis of race is okay. But Bloomberg's got to try to make that argument, right? All right. So as I watched Senator Nina Turner there, two things I was thinking. One was I was thinking, you know how much money I would pay to watch Nina Turner dismantle Mike Pence? Oh, man, I pay a lot, man. I'd pay everything I got, which ain't a lot, but it's all I got. It's a lot to me, right? Everything I had in my pocket. Oh, my God. Oh. Mike Pence, he wouldn't stand a chance with Nina Turner. Nina Turner would talk like a human being, and Mike Pence would talk like something you wind up and put away into a box after you were done with it. Well, I can see Mike Pence now. He'd be calling in sick. Hello? Oh, yes, I'm not feeling well. Have a death of a flu. Sound okay to me? You sure you can't be here? Oh, I'm positive. Besides, she'll be a woman and she'll be there sitting next to me, and that's inappropriate. Well, there'll be a whole audience. Yeah, but I can't do it. So I was thinking that, and I was also thinking, you know, Dr. Jason Johnson totally disrespected Nina Turner when they had a segment on MSNBC, and I was wondering how hard it would be for Bernie supporters to heckle Dr. Jason Johnson wherever they see him and throw balloons full of excrement at him. Yeah, that'd be really cool. I think that's what's necessary. You know? I mean, at the risk of, calling for somebody to get hit with shit balloons, I do think it's something that needs to happen. I mean, guys, just imagine if Tim Black went at Neera Tanden the way that, disrespectfully, condescendingly, beratingly, degradingly, no respect. It's just totally no respect for Nina Turner. It was horrible. Anyway, so back to the points of her argument. They make themselves. This Bernie bro thing was conjured by Hillary Clinton, like most things, sort of like the birth of myth. Conjured by the Hillary Clinton campaign in order to thwart Obama back in 2008. It was the Obama boys. A lot of the morons that are repeating it now, they have no idea where it came from. They just hear it and they go, yeah, this works. This is the Bernie people. It's horrible. And I appreciate the fact that Senator Nina Turner is laying it down and giving people the historical context of where it's really originated from. Also like the fact she ain't back away from calling the oligarchs an oligarch. But sort of like I said in a tweet recently, cool, you don't want me to call Michael Bloomberg an oligarch? Fine. I just call him a rich bastard who's got a lot of money and uses that money to wield political influence. That's the definition of an oligarch, by the way. And the reason why it sounds funny, because it is. Anyway, New Hampshire, here we go. Good stuff. That all I got on that? I think it is. Yeah, that's all we need. Bloomberg. Oh, yeah, bring it on, Bloomberg. Yeah, Blanco Bloomberg against Bernie Sanders would be hilarious. Oh, listen. Bloomberg, you are an oligarch when you are elitist and you are plutocracy embodiment. And you should not touch me, Bernie, for I do not associate myself with peasants. I may have you know, I dress myself today without the assistance of my butler. I noticed that you're standing very tall. Why, you grow 3 inches since this morning? No. I'm standing on my butler's back right now. You can go, Stanley. He also has someone feed him. Bloomberg has someone who feeds him. While Bernie Sanders supporters struggle to put food on the table, Michael Bloomberg occasionally has to feed himself, which is just as much of a pain in the ass for him. So in that way, we're all kind of in the same boat. All right, guys, I'll see you at the next segment. Become a member of the Tim Black Wolfpack. Become a member of the Tim Black Wolfpack by signing up here, and just do it on YouTube, Facebook, or wherever you are. Patreon, yeah. Patreon, Tim's Take Live. Patreon.com, Tim's Take Live. All right. You know why Bernie's been killing it, knocking it out the park, knocking the cover off the ball, dunking without, with no resistance, just going to the rim, bam, just slamming it. While he's been doing all of that, what's been going on between the other people in the field has been funny. Hell, let's call it really what it is. It's carnage. What you've been watching, guys, is the political version of 1917, the movie. It's been wreckage. I mean, it has been bad. And they should almost put a censored rating just on like the conversations that are happening between Buttigieg, Klobuchar, and Mayor Pete. For a little taste of that, I give you this.
Heading in tomorrow, as Sanders battles expectations, the moderates have been battling each other.
We have a newcomer in the White House, and look where it got us. I think having some experience is a good thing.
The way that we win is to offer a new voice, a new perspective, and leave the politics of the past in the past.
The politics of the past, I think, were not all that bad. So I don't know what about the past of Barack Obama and Joe Biden was so bad.
The biggest risk we could take at a time like this would be to go up against that fundamentally new challenge by trying to fall back on the familiar.
He's been the mayor of a city smaller than the city we're in now. And so what has he done? Who has he pulled together? Does he know any of the foreign leaders?
He did try running once in Indiana statewide, and he lost by over 20 points, and that's just a fact.
Today, though, it felt as if some of the candidates toned down their criticisms. My colleague Kristen Welker spoke to Biden this afternoon and asked him if he was worried his attacks on Buttigieg in particular may have actually backfired a bit.
Not at all.
Buttigieg may have backfired?
It didn't backfire at all. Look, what I did, I responded to his attacks on me. He said, basically, Barack Obama and I didn't do much at all. The problem started before this president became president. We did a pretty good job.
Are you concerned there's too much infighting?
Yeah, but from the beginning, look, you've covered this in the beginning. Who has had more attacks sent to them than anybody in the race by a factor of 5? Me. Because I've been the front runner, remain the front runner nationally. I got a target on my back. There are certain things you got to clarify, though. The constant assertion, like Bernie saying, I have baggage. I have baggage because of a vote he picks. Well, talk about baggage. I mean, he's a good guy, but let's be realistic. I'm just responding to the assertions and attacks that have been made that, in fact, are not accurate. They're not true.
What's not true is that you're leading nationally. You're not leading nationally anymore, Joe. That's you used to be. Yeah, no, you used to be. Not anymore. You've done what you've always done. You've gone down in the polls, sir. You've hit dirt. You've collapsed. You've caved. You've careened. You've cratered. You've done the Biden, which is very similar to a Hillary. It's not good, man. It's not looking good for you. One thing is for certain is that Biden's not going quietly. In fact, there was an article in Politico that kind of summed it up this way.
As Sanders battles expectations, the moderates...
Son of a. Article in Politico summed up what's going on. They called it this. Sanders glides toward primary day as moderates brawl. And the brawl they are, Johnson. We're talking haymakers, people going inside the house to get kitchen sinks, literally, and throwing them at one another. It's been a all-out fight. There's also been this.
Let's look at that latest Boston Globe tracking poll. Shows Bernie Sanders pulling away from his Democratic rivals at 27%, Pete Buttigieg at 19%. But as Joe just said, Amy Klobuchar making a move up 5 points after a strong debate performance on Friday. She's at 14%, with Joe Biden and Elizabeth Warren tied for fourth at 12%.
So you went to an Amy event last night, John Heilman. You said it was over 1,000 people, the most intense that she had. And I'm having people come up to me. I've had several since we got here saying, watch out for Amy, watch out for Amy.
They're hearing it. If you thought about this weekend here, the candidates that really have been on the move have been Pete Buttigieg and Amy Klobuchar, and they both have, all over the state have been drawing big crowds. Klobuchar last night, this event in Nashua, biggest crowd that she's had at any campaign event of the entire cycle. 1,100 in Nashua, and it was a high energy affair. She feels it. She said to me, I talked to her after, I said, what's different between Iowa and New Hampshire? She said, I'm here. In Iowa, I was
also, they count votes.
Well, that's true.
In New Hampshire.
But
This is nice.
That's true.
I like it when they do that.
But she's, a retail politician who really felt the pain of being stuck in D.C. for the impeachment thing. Yeah. And now she's here on the ground with the real fingertip feel that things are going her way. And then Pete Buttigieg, who in Nashua...
Yeah. It's just so excited I can be about someone who did fifth in Iowa, who may possibly, hold on to your seats, Johnson, she may come in third in New Hampshire. And then that'll be it. There'll be nothing else. She'll go back to fourth or fifth in Nevada if she's still in it. I think she will be because this gives her life. Then she'll tank again back in South Carolina, back to fourth or fifth, or maybe even sixth or seventh. And then it'll be over. It'll be Super Tuesday, and we'll be like, see you later. Amy, thanks for playing. And only in a neoliberal world such as the one that we reside in here in the United States are people trying to make her such a thing. Are they trying to build up nothing out of something or make something out of nothing? We're talking about a situation where we got a candidate that's milquetoast. And don't get me wrong, they're milquetoast guys too. A lot of them already got kicked out. Amy's on her way out the door, as is Joe Biden. But Joe Biden's going to stay around because of name recognition. Most Americans still don't know who Amy Klobuchar is. Do you realize that? They're talking about a candidate, most people don't even know who she is. They're like, who is a Klubadaba? A crowbar in the jaw? A Klubadaba? A Klabadar? A Kabatar? So anyway, back to Biden and Buttigieg. They're slugging it out. It's just getting heated up at this time. I think that somewhere along the line, Biden realized that, who's taking votes from me? It's that Buttigieg bastard. So let me go at him. And you thought that Biden was going to hold punches. You thought Biden was going to go quietly. Well, you got another thing coming. Biden put out an ad going at Buttigieg, and it is classic Johnson.
Let's look at that latest Boston Globe tracking poll. Shows Bernie Sanders...
Barack Obama called Joe Biden
best vice president America's ever had.
But Pete Buttigieg doesn't think much of the vice president's record. Let's compare. When President Obama called on him, Joe Biden helped lead the passage of the Affordable Care Act, which gave health care to 20 million people. And when parkgoers called on Pete Buttigieg, he installed decorative lights under bridges, giving citizens of South Bend colorfully illuminated rivers. Both Vice President Biden and former Mayor Buttigieg have taken on tough fights. Under threat of a nuclear Iran, Joe Biden helped to negotiate the Iran deal. And under threat of disappearing pets, Buttigieg negotiated lighter licensing regulations on pet chip scanners. Both Vice President Biden and former Mayor Pete have helped shape our economy. Joe Biden helped save the auto industry, which revitalized the economy of the Midwest, and led the passage and implementation of the Recovery Act, saving our economy from a depression. Pete Buttigieg revitalized the sidewalks of downtown South Bend by laying out decorative brick. And both Biden and Buttigieg have made hard decisions. Despite pressure from the NRA, Joe Biden passed the assault weapons ban through Congress. Then, he passed the Violence Against Women Act. And even when public pressure mounted against him, former Mayor Pete fired the first African-American police chief of South Bend. And then he forced out the African-American fire chief, too. We're electing a president. What you've done matters.
Oh my God, man. Ooh. Ooh. Oh gosh. Okay. Oh. It's one of them delayed punches, you know, bam. And you forget you got punched and it's woo. Man, that's gonna leave a mark, baby. Goodness gracious, Joe Biden, boy. Just it's almost as if Joe Biden doesn't respect Pete. It's almost as if he doesn't value Pete's contributions to the people of South Bend. Yeah, I was saving the world, and you were saving for a rainy day. I was out here fighting tuberculosis and polio, solving the riddles of society and humankind, and you were putting together a puzzle and learning the color in the lines. I was cleaning up the Middle East. You were avoiding having to clean your room. Wow. Wow. Man, Joe that's funny. That is hilarious. That is good. Oh man, in the endings? Whew, whew, that's gonna resonate with the black voters right there, Johnson. I mean, not all black voters, but you know, most black voters, you know, they hear that. They hear that Pete Buttigieg fired the first only black police chief and then fired the first black fire chief. He might go from getting 2% black support to back to -2. He might go from getting 3 black voters to back to no black voters, people he make up. Because he made up the endorsers list. Remember that? Jesus, man. Whew. And meanwhile, while they're doing all this commotion in the ocean, Bernie Sanders is chilling. He's chilling like a villain with a lot of money raised, ready to go on to Nevada. Now, don't get me wrong. We still got to do New Hampshire. We still got to play this out all the way. Let's party like it's 1999 some other time. Right now, we need to work like we're 10 points behind. But it does feel good, doesn't it? Watching them eat each other alive like this. This is a beautiful thing, Johnson. Beautiful thing. Oh, yeah. All right. Well, one of the issues that have come up lately on the campaign trail, and I'm trying to be more sensitive to it because apparently it is really a thing, and it's something that's been affecting not only this campaign, but back in 2016. And folks, we're talking about sexism and gender identity and bigotry and misogyny. And these are issues that have been highlighted, and I don't know. Let's take a look at it.
Are doing well in terms of presenting plans, branding themselves as sort of can-do candidates, but not doing well in the polls. What can we read into that here in New Hampshire?
Well, clearly, Amy Klobuchar right now is on the upswing after that debate performance. And when it comes to Elizabeth Warren, her fall, remember, she had a huge rise. She was leading in Iowa and New Hampshire for about 2 months in the fall. It's not like it didn't happen. Her fall has been confounding. A lot of people want to tie it to the Medicare for All. There may be something else going on. What is very interesting to me, all week, I have been looking at this question of gender. Because in New Hampshire, more than any other state probably in the country, it has a tradition of electing women to office. It was the first state in United States history that had sent a full female delegation to Washington. As you know, the senior senator from this state is Jean Shaheen. She was the first woman in American history to serve both as a female, as a governor and a senator. And the second is the other senator from the New Hampshire, Maggie Hassan. And so I've been curious. Where is gender going to play? I talked to a lot of women here who really, really want a woman nominee, and they were confused about where exactly they should go. Warren was not that obvious choice in the end of this campaign, and I think that probably is a factor. And if I don't want to play this game, but it is a factor. And if Amy Klobuchar, for example, had clarity out of Iowa, she was clearly the story, or she was clearly out of the race because she wasn't. Warren, obviously, I do think would be doing a lot better here.
It's interesting. And so the thinking that a lot of people have, and this is, I'm going to go to cut 3 just for my producers, that this is what a lot of women hear when they hear men talking about women candidates in general. This is our colleague Donnie George talking on Morning Joe about Warren. This was on Friday. Take a listen.
Is it a woman or is it her? Or is it certain, there's a certain stridiness to her that do we want to invite her in to our bedrooms and our living rooms every day for 4 years? I think she has the same issue Bernie has. I don't think it's a gender issue. I think it's a likability issue. And that, I think we have to be careful. Oh, I think an amazing woman would be a great antidote to John's point earlier, a different definition of strength, if you will, strength to strength, but in a different way. But I don't think Elizabeth Warren's problem has been that she's a woman.
The likable thing, right? First of all, I don't get it because she actually reminds me of all the other soccer moms when I used to be a soccer mom. She actually seems quite likable to me. I don't get that, but that is the thing that's hung on her. It's a very gendered critique because, Bernie Sanders and she, if you compare them, which one is sort of more invite him to dinner? I don't know, but I'm not sure that she loses that fight. But she is losing the fight to being the lead in the progressive thing. The messaging is hurting her.
They love to bring this up. We got a little bit more background on Elizabeth Warren in another clip I'd like to share with you about her that might explain why she's not doing as well as they think she should do. I don't want to necessarily say it has to do with gender or that it doesn't have to do with gender. There are women who are watching this show, women who are in the Tim Black Wolfpack, who have their own experiences of dealing with gender, dealing with how they've been misrepresented or why they feel that certain opportunities were not given to them or what have you. And I'm sure that it exists that people have preconceived notions about women as they do about black men, as they do about black women and Asian. All of us have these things. When it comes to this race, and it comes to the women that have been in this race, I would not say that the reason why Kamala Harris is not in the race has something to do with her gender. I tend to believe it helped her. And that's probably going to put me in the crosshairs, but it's really what I think. I mean, I think if Kamala Harris was a guy and she was a prosecutor who was accused of the things that she was accused of, having really no mercy on black single moms, locking them up for the children being late for school, I think it would have been a wrap. No one would have looked the other way. No one would have given her the benefit of the doubt that she did it because she cared. If a guy does that and he tries to run for president as a Democrat, it'll be a wrap for him. No one's going to go, oh, well, that was his way of loving the kids and loving the moms. He would have never been able to run. He would have been smart enough to keep his day job. But since she was a woman, she was able to run and do very well for a long time until that record snuck up on her and she didn't have a response. People were giving her the benefit of having a response. Now let's move on to Amy Klobuchar. Amy Klobuchar is also a prosecutor, albeit she was not attorney general. So some of the criticism that I've laid out seems like it hasn't stuck to her, but she's doing decently. She's still in it. There are a lot of people who are not here right now, Johnson. So it's always difficult to ascertain if the issue is the person or if it's their gender or whatever it is. I had the same issues. I'm up late at night trying to work my business, trying to do my thing on my channel, and issues of race come up, and it's very hard to pinpoint why my videos or why my company is not resonating like some others who I don't, who seem to be, who are killing it. Like, what's going on? Everyone says, this is entertaining, it's interesting, we love you, Tim Black, but still, I can't crack through, while others who do very close to just read from a page do just fine. And there's a lot of factors at play, and all of them are not race and all of them are not sex. But as it pertains particularly strictly to these women in this race in 2020, Elizabeth Warren was killing it, man. I know as a Bernie supporter, I was watching like, okay, this is going to be a problem. Elizabeth Warren, she's taken Bernie's policies. She's expanded on certain ones, but dulled them to a certain degree to make them more palatable for the elites or for the corporations, but she has expanded on a lot of stuff, and she's been using Bernie's talking points. But then something happened, and I think that something had more to do with Elizabeth Warren than it had to do with her gender. Once again, I think it was sort of like a cheat code that she got to use that for some of the issues. I mean, if a guy was caught, I'm sorry, if a man was caught publicly lying or caught in a, she said she wasn't lying, but the whole Native American thing, the indigenous people thing, I don't think a man would have survived it. I don't think anyone would have took mercy on a man saying he was black when he wasn't, and then he got a position or a job or pointed in a school or whatever that thing that was happened. All right, I don't think it would have went well for a dude. I think he'd have been a rap. That's what I believe. Now I could be wrong, but that's the sort of the way I see it. To that point, there's some things going on in Elizabeth Warren campaign that they don't talk much about. And I think if it was a man in this situation, I think we'd be talking about it, Johnson.
Are doing well in terms of presenting plans, branding themselves as sort of can-do candidates.
That's what we can change in 2020. So I'm all in on this fight.
There's a story in Politico that I saw you responded to, and I just want to get your response to it here on air, about 6 women of color that quit your Nevada campaign with complaints of a toxic work environment and tokenism. One of them went on the record. I saw that you responded to that and apologized. What do you want to say in response to learning about that?
I believe these women without any equivocation. And I apologize personally that they had a bad experience on the campaign. I really work hard to try to build a campaign and a work environment where it's diverse and open and everyone is welcome and celebrated and gets to bring their whole self to work every day. But I'm also very aware that racism and oppression in this country have left a long legacy. And it creates the kind of toxicity where power structures, people take advantage of other people. It's something for which we have to be constantly vigilant and constantly determined to do better. I take responsibility for this, and I'm working with my team to address these concerns.
Well, it sounded like a bunch of talk, but nothing really specific as, to the actual allegations. And then Chris Hayes didn't even follow up and make her like, what do you mean? Be more specific. Tell us what happened. Tell us what your steps are. I remember when Bernie Sanders had a similar issue. It happened off season. They talked about it for 2 years, Johnson. They talked about how Bernie, his staff had, not treated women fairly or something to that extent. And he had to apologize. He had to go sort of like on an apology tour, make a lot of changes, even things he didn't even know. He said he didn't even know anything about. But they didn't just let him go with a simple article in Politico and Chris Hayes with a softball interview. It was more of a thing where he's the guy, so evidently that means that he cares less. And then Elizabeth Warren. So I think there are double standards on both sides of these types of issues. But you should be able to ask the question of Elizabeth Warren, what are you going to do about it, and hold her accountable like you would hold a guy accountable. But once again, like for me, all I can say is what I feel and what I see. Only an idiot would turn down a leader who's going to make their lives better and the lives better of their friends, their family, their loved ones, their cousins, their parents, make the country better, help with help clean up the environment, actually end mass incarceration, legalize cannabis, decriminalize drugs, like all these things, end the wars, the never-ending wars. Like only an idiot would say, I don't want that because there's a woman who's going to lead it. Like no one, like if you're in a dire situation, you could care less who saves you. You just want to be saved. That's the way I tend to look at it. Maybe that's a little bit basic, maybe, but that's just how I see it. Please comment in the comment section below what you think about this, how you see it. I mean, I see it as though we're talking about people with their own flaws, and how that plays out in the campaign trail. Elizabeth Warren raised a lot of money. Amy Klobuchar is raising a lot of money now. there are guys who are out of this thing. I just don't see it, guys. I just don't. I'm sure there are some backward bastards out there who would vote for a woman. Just like there's some backward bastards out there who won't vote for a black person. You got to keep going anyway. And to that point, I will give credit where credit is due. Listen to Amy Klobuchar speak to this issue when it became time for her to, when they voiced the question to her.
Terry? Senator, one of the things that people have said about the 2016 election is that it showed that sexism is almost as strong as racism still in this country. And we have seen a couple of women candidates, strong women candidates, already drop out. And you hear from voters doubt that America can do that America's ready for that. Do you feel that that is still the case for you in the Democratic Party or beyond? Whatever they tell posters, whatever they tell their kids, when they go to the voting booth, they may not be ready.
I think they are ready because I look at the woman governor of Michigan that just gave the response to the president's State of the Union, Gretchen Whitmer, or Laura Kelly in Kansas. That is a very red state, and she won that race, which means Democrats voted her, but so did independents and moderate Republicans. You look at all these new members of Congress that got elected, many of them very strong women. So I start with those facts. The second thing is I am someone that doesn't talk about this a lot because I've won my elections doing very well with male voters, and I was the first woman in my state in both my jobs as the county attorney and then the senator. And I felt for the first time, getting at what you're talking about, that I needed to address it. I was the first one to bring it up on the debate stage, and that is that 5'4" is not a bad height for a president. That is the height of James Madison.
She was doing so well, too. She always does that. Just when I'm, like, enjoying what she's saying and it's going somewhere for me and I'm feeling it, she starts talking about herself, Johnson. It always leads back to something about her personally that I can't stand. There she goes there. Went from gender to talking about how short she is. You know, come on, your Napoleon complex has nothing to do with what we're talking about. Next thing we know, she's going to talk about her dad who's on the sauce. My dad is 90. And he had a drinking problem since he was 6, and he drank the moonshine, and all this time we were drinking, and he was horrible to be around, and he threw his shoes at me, and I ducked them. That's where I picked up the thing about throwing the stapler. And then there was the thing about the thing I had to learn to duck, and all these things that happened with me and my boyfriends, and I'm like, come on, man. Hey, come on, Jesus Christ. Stay on point. And these are some of the reasons, stylistic reasons I don't like Amy Klobuchar, but then there are policy reasons I don't like her either. She's a moderate, a milquetoast moderate. There's nothing at all exciting about her policies or what she sees. The vision that she has for America is basically, let's trim around the edges over here and over there, but not over there, and let's just keep it kind of like this. And, you know, she said she wants to do big things, but none of the things she wants to do are big. But I do agree that harping on it too much isn't going to help you. What you got to do is go out and win those votes. So I appreciate her making that point. Unlike the guy who spoke before, it's like, yeah, 2016 was obvious that, gender inequality or misogyny is just as bad as racism or something. It's like, dude, you talking about Hillary Clinton? You're talking about Hillary Clinton, who... one of the most unlike people in America. I mean, she was, Johnson. And she still was a senator. And she still was a Secretary of State. She was never likable, but she's still one of the most successful women in the world. Because she's not president, we're sexist. What about the fact she almost was? You know how many other women or other men or other people in general just weren't almost president? A lot, Johnson. All right. I got one more. I think I'm gonna go with this one, guys, because I think we got a couple minutes left. This is amazing because what's happening is people are. I saw this guy talking, Tom Steyer. Tom Steyer, I've never done a story about Tom Steyer, right? I don't talk about him much, but I did talk about him a little bit in the debates because I thought he did pretty good for himself. And it turns out Tom Steyer's doing pretty good in South Carolina. I got a clip here of Chuck Todd trying to bait Tom Steyer in to say something horrible about Bernie Sanders. And look at the way that Tom Steyer navigates around the landmines of being hated by the Bernie supporters. Check this out.
You, somebody that's concerned Bernie Sanders can't win this nomination? Can win the nomination, but can't win the general election against Donald Trump?
No, I am not one of the people who's ever going to join a Stop Bernie campaign. I'm someone who believes, and I think you've heard me say this, Chuck, that in order to beat Donald Trump, you're going to have to be able to take him on and beat him on the economy. That he's running on the economy, on his record on the economy, and on the idea that Democrats will kill jobs. And as somebody who built a business from scratch and knows a lot about job creation, I can take him on the economy and beat him.
Why is it that you're better prepared to do that than Joe Biden? If you're going to make an economic argument, and there are some people that think that is not a good idea in this economy, it's a harder campaign, but let's say you do. Why isn't Joe Biden the better person to make the economic argument, since the biggest argument Democrats make is that this expansion started in the Obama administration?
Because in order to win this argument, Chuck, you're going to have to be able to show that Mr. Trump is using misleading numbers, that he's basically lying about the impact of the economy in terms of working Americans across the board, that in fact, yes, the economy is growing, but all the increased income has gone to rich people. That yes, we have low unemployment, but it's $7.25. You can't afford to live on the jobs. That this is basically the Mar-a-Lago economy, and what we're going to do differently to really create growth, to create broad-based growth. And in fact, the fact that Mr. Trump's economy is really a continuation of the Reagan economy, which has always been about cutting taxes for rich people and big corporations and favoring rich people and big corporations at the expense of working people for 40 years. You've got to be able to make that argument and make it stick, and you've got to understand really what drives economic growth in order to do it.
Your boy Chuck Todd wasn't ready for that. Yeah, that's what you call one of them real answers. All right? So first of all, it was cool of Tom Steyer to say, hey, I'm not going to join the Bash Bernie Brigade or whatever you got going on, this Never Bernie thing. I'm not going to do that. That's pointless. All right? And that's cool. Thank you, Tom, for saying that. I don't trust you, though. Right? But thank you, though. But I don't trust you, though. But what I found amazing about it was he went right after Obama without going after Obama. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, see, Chuck thought Tom was a lightweight. Tom's no lightweight, and Tom already knows that, yeah, the Trump numbers are lies. And so was Obama's. See, that's the reason why Biden can't make that argument, because if he made that argument, it becomes obvious that the economy is shit, and it was shit then, and it was shit under Obama, and it's still shit now under Trump. That the people at the top got rich and got bailed out, just like they did under Obama. They got a better deal than the working stiff. That's the real problem, and families are not doing better, marginally better. I think Bernie said average worker in America's, their salary increased 17 cents? 17 cents. How's that trickle-down economics working for you, Johnson? 17 cents. What you going to do with that? Right? But meanwhile, the people at the top 1% or whatever picked up billions and billions and billions of dollars, because a lot of the gains that they talk about are corporate gains, or gains relating to stock, which these corporations have been buying back because they're getting breaks. Buy back more of their stock, inflate the cost of the profitability of their corporations, pass the profits on to their shareholders, rinse, repeat. Really not that hard to do. This whole thing that regular working people are doing so much better is a fallacy, it's a lie, and Tom Steyer has no problems exposing that. And Chuck Todd walked his ass very, very nonchalantly into a buzzsaw. You can hear him, okay. Okay, okay. Someone off screen was like, Chuck's like, okay, Good enough. Fair enough. Fair enough. Okay, goodbye. Thank you very much. Touch. Shut up, Tom. Cut his mic, damn it. Cut his mic, for God's sake. Yeah. Before I leave you, I'd like to leave you with just this clip of Pete Buttigieg. Because Pete Buttigieg has been doing a lot of swinging, but a lot of missing when it comes to Bernie Sanders. It ain't been working out the way he thought it would, Johnson. Check this out.
Somebody that's concerned Bernie Sanders can't win this nomination.
With a president this divisive, we cannot risk dividing Americans' future further. Saying that you must either be for a revolution or you must be for the status quo. Let's make room for everybody in this country.
We did not just go there.
This is our one chance to defeat Donald Trump. And there is an American majority that is unified not just in who we are against, but in what we are for.
Wall Street Pete! Wall Street Pete! Wall Street Pete!
Because
Wall Street Pete! Wall Street Pete! Wall Street Pete!
Yeah. And that didn't turn out exactly the way he planned it, did it, Johnson? Wall Street Pete! Wall Street Pete! Wall Street Pete! Somebody stop pop locking. Wall Street Pete! Wall Street Pete! Wall Street Pete! Break dancing. Pete the cheat! Pete the cheat! Pete the cheat! Pete the cheat! Yeah, so that's great. I don't know what it is with Pete, man. This guy's got cojones. And there was something I was watching the other day. I'm going to do a video on it, guys. I just want to tell you. Dr. Cornel West was good friends with Pete's dad. It turns out Pete's dad is a big-time Marxist. In other words, he's like a socialist to like the third power, where his dad was like a socialist to the third power. When I say Dr. Cornel West knew his dad, they were like best friends. They took trips together, hung out, really cool. Dr. Cornel West was saying that he's known Pete since Pete was 5. He wasn't raised to be a corporate sucker. He wasn't raised to be a neoliberal piece of garbage, a milquetoast neoliberal, throwing away all of our privacy rights, money, away to corporations and to the elites. It's like, that's not who he should be. That's not who his dad raised him to be. And Dr. Cornel West considers him like family, but says he can never support him or vote for him. And that's what you call integrity. To support Bernie Sanders over someone you consider his family and known almost all his life, just based on the principle of the policy, and that's really what it's all about. And it just also leaves a bad taste in your mouth because it's like, man, that means that Pete has really no excuse. I mean, he knows the difference. He knows what he was raised to believe. He knows what his dad believed. He knows Dr. Cornel West, and he still chooses to pursue fame and power over pursuing a vision of a better country in a way that truly enhances and changes the lives of everyday people. I mean, it's a horrible thing what power and greed will do to you, isn't it? Yeah. All right, guys, now we go to Super Chat, see what people had to say. I'm sorry I didn't go earlier, but with our late start, I wanted to get through the news topics. Check it out. Got a few comments here, Johnson. Oh, it says reload the page. Okay, I'm reloading. Okay. Couple people. We got a new member. We got a couple new members. NRJ in the house. What's up, NRJ? Thank you for joining. The Tim Black Wolfpack Princess Queen. Thank you for joining. These people joined before the show started. Laura Hines joined. Thank you, Laura Hines. Jim Garrison joined as well. Jim, tanking is now called Bidening. There you go, Bidening. You heard that, right? That's what's up, man. Nene says, love Wolfpack. Love Wolfpack. Listen. A Bernie presidency means we get to see Turner and West on TV every day, all day, breaking news. I love it. That would be something. Princess Queen, got into it with Dr. Johnson on this issue. You did? Yeah, I'm so tired. I had to mute Dr. Johnson. He's horrible. Owen Johnson, keeping it real, Tim. I know you always do. That's why we love you. That's why I love you back. We got to do it. Nene, that ad, Joe and Bernie are friends. Wow, wow, wow. Yeah. Owen Johnson again. Andrew bring the best weed to the dinner party. Andrew Yang. Owen Johnson. James Madison references kill with the above. 200. James Madison's references kill with the above. I remember someone said something about it. I forget who it was at this point. Eminem, can you introduce Bernie when he does South Carolina rallies? I don't know. If I go to South Carolina, we're in talks. We'll see what happens. Owen Johnson, I'll take it back. Nina Turner bought the dankest herb. Go ahead, Owen Johnson. And Mad Wolf says, come on, you can't get Tom to talk crap about Bernie. Tom is a Bernie groupie. You've seen how Tom glows around Bernie. That's what makes Tom almost likable. That's what it was. I had another clip of Tom Perez refusing to step down from the DNC chair position due to the fiasco, which was the Iowa caucus. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I want to cover that one or not. I just can't. Tom Perez. All right, guys, tomorrow's going to be a big day. We're going to be covering the New Hampshire, the results from the primary, guys. Come here, check it out. You know I'm going to keep it real with you. I'll see you tomorrow. Until then, be safe. Remember, don't let nobody take your cornbread. That's your cornbread. Keep your cornbread. Don't get into arguments with people. Sprinkle some facts on them instead. I love you. Don't forget to text the word cornbread to code 21,000 to join the VIP text group, the Tim Black VIP text group. I got nothing but love for you. I see you on the next one. Go sign up for the Facebook group, Tim Black Speak On It group, and find me on Twitter as Real Tim Black. Real Tim Black on Facebook, Tim Black at Night on Instagram. And, yeah, keep it real, Johnson. Till next time. Peace. Oh, there you go. My name is Tim Black. You're now tuned into the most watched Black independent media news network in the country. We cover politics, we cover pop culture, we cover whatever matters in your world. If it goes down, I'm covering it. We do a show, live show, Monday, Tuesdays, Thursdays, Fridays. Friday nights, we got what? A call-in show. Anybody can call in. Throughout the week, we put out little clips, short clips of important news. You don't want to miss it. Stay on top of your news. Go with a reliable source. I'm there for you. TBTV, this is where it's at. Subscribe today and remember, don't you let nobody take your cornbread. Johnson. Popular demand, Johnson is here. I have new Johnson designs in my shop. If you want to pick them up, check them out. They are hilarious, they are revolutionary, and they're all Johnson. You're going to love them, man. Check them out. Both parties suck, Johnson. It's one of my favorites. Independent media only, Johnson. Keep it real. We are all Johnson. We are. We're one big community, guys. Go check it out. Independent media only. Johnson's in the house. Both parties suck, Johnson. We are here. They got a special going on right now. Free shipping. Get it today. Wolfpack.